Hello everybody, good evening. Welcome into Dog Zone, where on tonight's show we look at the heats of two Group 2 features that took place over the last couple of days. The Nancy Cobain Memorial Heats out of Manawatu and the Colin Keane Memorial Heats that took place at Fulbury Park. Joining us here as usual is Mark Rosanowski. Rozo, pleasure to have you on the show once again after what's been a couple of wet days both at Manawatu and Fulbury for those Group 2 heats.
It certainly has been, Eddie. Nice to be joining you for the final show of 2019, and it's all about tradition this week. And I'm not just talking about the dog that you tipped out at odds to win a heat of the Nancy Cobain Memorial, but the fact that we are reflecting on races named after Nancy Cobain and Colin Keane, who were two long-time administrators, very valuable both on a national level and on a local level to their respective clubs. Of course, Nancy tied up with the Manawatu club as it was at the time, now Palmerston North, and Colin Keane down in Dunedin, the Otago Greyhound Racing Club. And of course, we had Founders Day at Manukau on Sunday as well, and we'll reflect on a couple of the feature races from there as well if there is time. So a traditional day as we lead up to a traditional feast, Christmas.
Indeed it is. It's firstly time to have a look back at the Manawatu and the heats that took place there, the Nancy Cobain heats over the 660 metre journey. This is a look at the final field market first, where the favourite has come up as Mighty Muscle at $3, Hot Platter at $5, Gem at $5.50, and M Grand Park also at a quote of $5. Rozo, immediate thoughts to the market?
Well, I think given that Mighty Muscle set the track record and ran down in Grand Park first up on the track, that the dog's entitled to be favourite, particularly drawn box number 2 with M Grand Park out in 7. Having said that, Andy, I think $5 is okay around M Grand Park. He is a dog I think that will improve from that run. He had come off a middle distance preparation for the Spion Rose. He'll be better, and $5 I think you can play him if you're keen, despite the wide draw. And at longer odds, Andy, and I'm interested in your thoughts here, and I had a chat to Dave Fahey. Max Dancer, we talked about this on Monday when the races were happening. Neither of us thought Max Dancer box 8 not really that ideal, but you mentioned on air that Dave's quite happy with her out there, or certainly the owner is anyway. Well, she's out there again, and even better this time, she's drawn outside M Grand Park. So at $12, Max Dancer, who was pretty close in that race, of course those three in that track record time, they all ran comfortably faster than the other heats. So $12 on that heat run, Max Dancer might be the value there.
She certainly looks playable on a 1/3 type basis in the race. As you say, she's going to get room into the first turn, which is key with that short run to the first bend. So she's going to be certainly backable on a 1/3. She should be $3, $3.20 a place, which will be tidy enough money around her as well. Right, the first of the 3 heats was taken out by the Gene and Dave Fahey prepared Tradition. He's a greyhound who is relatively inexperienced in terms of starts. He's only had a handful of them due to things going wrong with him, Rozo, but he's always shaped as a pretty talented stayer, and we've seen the best of him on Monday.
Yeah, well, you certainly labelled him, Andy, and he's delivered in good style here. He's from a very strong dam line, and the conditions here were pretty atrocious. Favourite got back in the field. The outside 3 dogs, things didn't work out for them. That's Thrilling Nina working around on the black rug. I actually thought she went okay off that moderate beginning. I mean, it's just her 13th start. But Honours here with Tradition up the middle here. The Faheys beating the Turmoil team, and that's how it stayed across the 3 heats, Andy, with Tradition beating Kamada Park, who's got a very good record at the 660 on the track. DJ Dynamics, the brother to last year's winner, Don't Knock a G, hanging in there for 3rd and fast enough to be able to qualify as one of the 2 fastest thirds, Andy. So Tradition could only get better from there. Having said that, did get the ideal and perfect run there. And of course, this is going to be a very tough final, Andy, because a number of the right dogs have advanced. The draw always throws up a few question marks, and I can see it being a very competitive 660 race. And obviously with that short run to the first bend, that's going to be critical for a dog like Tradition.
It certainly is. Drawing in the middle, not ideal for him. He'll be needing a little bit of luck with that lack of early speed that he does have. Let's move on to heat number 2 now. This one taken out again by the Fahey team. This time was the black and white striped rug of Gem, who was able to get over top of Hot Platter late in the piece. And Rozo, this has been a good run from her. She gets back to 4th around this first turn. Hot Platter bowling along in front. Actually gets taken by Aski and Jeff down the back, but that was short-lived by him. Gem's been a big run here to get over top of them late.
Yes, certainly. Hot Platter, as we know, winner of the Sockburn Cup not so long ago down at Addington over the 732 metres, 645 metre winner on Spion Rose night. And Jem picking her up here as they got to Ask King Jeff, former track record holder, Apawa June. Well, she was still a track record holder at this point. She got into third and she ends up on the first ballot. I went for the inside dog there, Andy. You always go the outside, and I went for the inside. There you go. Looked to be a margin, but there wasn't. Jem got the bob in there. Mark Lynn was there on track, and he's got another handy stayer here, Andy, out of Amberlight by Beckham Bale in Jem. Very good performance there. Fraction faster than that first heat, 38.49 across the board. The sectionals all a touch faster, not too much difference there. But they really did crank up things time-wise in the final heat, which turned out to be a cracker. And, well, look, all three were really good races and good close finishes, Andy, which is all you can ask for. But they were running some time in this last one as well, which made it just that extra special.
They certainly were. Rosso, just on that heat, we were able to see Hot Platter kick up and hold the lead. Are you thinking she can do the same? Obviously, speed from DJ Dynamics, speed out wider as well from M Grand Park. Do you think that she's able to kick up and hold the lead in this final come Monday afternoon?
Well, she's a chance to, Andy, and she can hold the rail, obviously. But look, I think M Grand Park coming across from the 7 can find the front again and put some pressure on any of those dogs closer into that first bend. It could be quite a critical point of the race, obviously, going into that first bend. I mean, you could argue it always is, but in this particular instance, I think we'll see whether M Grand Park has any sort of show after the first bend, and it's possible that he may damage a couple of the chances closer in, potentially a Hot Platter or a DJ Dynamics, and of course enhance a dog like Max Dancer. Meanwhile, Mighty Muscle might just be sitting in behind them, minding its own business, just like he did in this heat we're about to show you.
Let's go and have a look at that now. Mighty Muscle, he was drawn up well in this as well. He had box 3 on this occasion. M Grand Park in the 2. Rosso M Grand Park setting sectionals in front faster than the other 2 heats. Mighty Muscle probably getting a little bit handier than most thought he would, and from a long way out. Even though he's got there less than a length, he looked like he'd be hard to hold out.
Yes, look, it's a good race from all three here. You've just always got the feeling that M Grand Park was vulnerable down the long straight, even though he's a good strong dog with good 645 metre form in New Zealand. In fact, this is the first time at his 4th attempt in New Zealand he's been beaten beyond the 600 metre mark, and he's beaten Mighty Muscle twice down on Mighty Muscle's home patch at Addington. Now Mighty Muscle's come to M Grand Park's home patch and beaten him down the long straight. Paid very good money on the tote too. He was a wee bit shorter with the book. He looked a clear second pick there after his black book effort on Spion Rose night. Andy, there's no question he deserved this win after what happened to him on Spion Rose night when he dashed into second after a very bad checker lap out behind Hot Platter. Look, I don't think M Grand Park lost any admirers there, Andy. As I say, I expect the dog to be further improved going into this. He had been set for the Spion Rose over the 520 metres, and now focus turns, of course, to a 660 metre race, and it's a little bit different, of course, and the training can be a bit different too. And we saw him at Addington, Andy, win a 645 metre race, and then the next 645 metre race he ran quite significantly faster and had to beat Mighty Muscle down there reasonably convincingly. The draw is definitely against the 7, but he's got the speed to get across here early, and again, I don't mind him at 5. Andy, I'm assuming will you be going Mighty Muscle, $3 there? Do you think the price is about right? And obviously it seems like we're both in agreement that the longer odds bet might be Max Dancer.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think the draw really aids Mighty Muscle. I think it hurts a dog like M Grand Park, although he does have the speed to potentially cross them into the first turn. But I think even if he does, he's going to have to work to get there, whereas Mighty Muscle is just going to be minding his own business on the fence. So I think the $3 around him's a fairly playable price. And yeah, you would think M Grand Park should improve. It's his first 600 for over a month, but that's Mighty Muscle's first look at the one bender there at Palmy as well. So some improvement potentially in him, which is a scary thing as well.
And Andy, look, just looking at it, Gem and Tradition, very good winning heat performances, but with their draws now, do you think that they might even be a fraction unders in the market, which is inflating the other prices? Because as good as those heat wins were, with the draws now and the fact that that last heat was significantly faster, are they really winning chances?
It's hard to see it, really, to be fair. Like I said, if Mighty Muscle is getting a beautiful sit on the rail and behind a dog like Hot Platter, and we've seen Gem come straight over top of her late in the piece, so you'd think Mighty Muscle is going to be able to do the same. And the way they begun, it's hard to picture Gem being in front of Mighty Muscle, or Tradition for that matter as well. So Mighty Muscle certainly becomes the greyhound to beat, and I think that $3 is a playable price. And Rosso, I think he was $12 into 9 before the heats to win this final. So whoever lapped up that $12, I bet you they've got a pretty big smile on their face.
Yeah, certainly. They're going to be running with value in their back pocket, and obviously he still has to do the job. But yep, that's a very nice price, and he was the significant mover in that futures market.
Right, the other Group 2 heats that took place this week were at Dunedin and at Forbury Park. Here's a look at the greyhounds who made it through. Obviously, this is pre-draw, and Rosso, it was all about Team Fahey there at Manawatu. It was all about Craig Roberts down here at Dunedin, Osterbale and Uther Bale, both pretty dominant winners.
They were, Andy. Of course, Craig missed out with Dinah Dave, who put in what, by his high standards, was a subpar effort. Look, and you could look at Spring Falcon as well and say, well, you know, that was below par from him as well, but he's qualified. But Andy, interested in your thoughts here. Clearly Osterbale outstanding, and he seems to thrive on the wire rope system, and he got a win at Addington last week as well. He's a real dog of the future. But I'm wondering, I think we have to forgive dogs that don't necessarily go as well as we thought they might in those conditions, do we not?
I think you have to put a line through some of these runs, especially greyhounds who were on the fence. It did appear to be the worst of the track. I was down there as well, and dogs like Spring Falcon and Dinah Dave were just sort of charging through it on the fence, and they didn't hit the line anywhere near as good as we're used to them hitting the line. So I think we have to forgive a few of these greyhounds their runs and just put a line through them, and hopefully come finals day we get a nice day and a better track that's not rain affected. In terms of the heats, let's take you back to have a look at them. The first of them was taken out by Osterbale. He's the greyhound in the black and white stripes here of box 2. Straight to the lead, Rosso. Race looked in safe keepings a long way from home, although Spring Falcon got handy enough, but like we said, he's chugging along on the fence there, and the worst of it in behind them, and clearly not handling the conditions at all.
He's just an absolute beast, this dog, Andy. He looks like he's got a really big win in him. Very impressed when he came up to Hattrick and ran 30.09 first up, and then what did he run, 30 and 16 on the final night when the Group 1 was won in a 30.05. Then he's gone back, he's got that win at Addington, his first down there, and now he's done this. Ego Maniacal up for second. He was the Dunedin Cup winner and his only win on this track, and he ran fourth as the favourite in the Colin Key Memorial last year when he was with the Faheys with Dan Roberts. Now Dan's done a good job with him. Surprising to see him get over the top of Spring Falcon, but we've kind of talked about that. The main thing is that Spring Falcon is in. Dave Fahey had a quick look over him when he got back from Dunedin last night, the dog, and things are okay, but of course he'll be checking him thoroughly again today, Wednesday, and sometimes things don't show up, Andy, as we know, but very dominant performance, and again, given the track conditions, that's actually a good time and a ripping time when he won down there prior, so he is shaping as the dog to beat, although we're about to look at a phenomenal winning performance from Uther Bale.
Yeah, it was a big run from Uther Bale, significantly slower time than that of Osterbale, but considering we're looking at the greyhound in the green rug here of box number 6, he cops a check there, get back to a clear last, and Rosso, these aren't slugs in front of him. He's able to get a run up the fence, which we've just said is the worst part of the track in the early hunt there, and he's just been way too strong, getting away to win by around 2.5 lengths.
Yeah, look, he's getting past dogs that are pretty talented. That's Double Speed, who was a New Zealand Cup finalist in the red rug. Opawa May a little bit closer in there. Got No Refusal getting home strongly there. The 5 dog, the size produce winner back in June. So some very good performance. It's quite a check early on that he took. And look, he's obviously Craig and the team have had to work really hard on him because he's had his troubles, got the focus issues, but doesn't seem to be a problem at the moment, Andy. He's another dog that really impressed me at Hattrick without winning. Got up on heels when deadheading for third. That was on the home turn first look up there. And then, Andy, that run in the Wanganui Derby, look, got beaten a long way by a really nice dog in Opawa Toddy who earned that win, but Uther Bale was so awkward off the boxes to get up for second at Hattrick, and that did indicate the type of performance we saw yesterday was coming.
Yeah, it certainly did, and I think the most impressive thing about that is having his first look at Forbury Park as well, so to have the sense to duck the fence and miss that trouble into the first turn. Most dogs would have opted to try and stay wide and come around and would have got caught up in that trouble, so certainly was a super run from him, and he is a definite chance come finals day if he can get a clean run at them. It's going to be an absolute boomer there. That's on New Year's Eve, that final. That's going to be absolutely outstanding, that day of racing. Let's also take a look back now at Sunday, Manukau Stadium, where we had Founders Day taking place there, and the feature was the Founders Day Cup over the 527 metres. The winner of this, Power Magic, was in a fresh state, gets back and behind a couple of types that have got some speed, including Kiwi Gal and the leader there in Opawa Viking. Rozo, she's been good here, Opawa Magic, getting over top of them late. Gee, it would have been good to see Viking get a bit of cash for Sean Codlin after he got robbed of that win at Waikato, though.
Yeah, certainly would. Set the speed up front, and Viking's been gunned down and ended up missing a placing there with the Sakichi, the short price favourite, getting up for third after some early bother, but honours certainly with the winner. Well done to Glenys Farrell and Opawa Racing. She got left in the north after running third in the Group 2 size produce in June behind the Cleve pair of No Refusal and No Denying, and she's doing a solid job up there, Andy, and there's certainly opportunities for dogs like Opawa Magic, you think, in the north, where there aren't that many dogs racing at the top end over the middle distances, and you'd think that dogs like Opawa Magic would find life tougher back in Canterbury where they started out. So she's been quite well placed there. Kiwi Gallon for second. Sakichi, well, beaten favourite certainly, but really rattled late after getting back in a bit of traffic there.
Yeah, it certainly was a good race that. We also had the Founders Day Trophy on the day. This one for the open grade sprinters, 318 metres, and taken out by one of this fantastic litter, Captain Coots La Cigale, and probably not the one most people thought, though, Rozo. Taken out by Carbon Tiger, was able to get in front of the hot favourite and his litter mate Buddy Boom, and look, the winner a long, long way from home.
Andy, Buddy Boom has excited us right from the off, and of course went on to win the Group 1 Galaxy second in the Group 2 Dash for Cash. As for Carbon Tiger, this dog took a few starts to win, then finally picked up a maiden at the end of September, and then since then 10 starts, 7 wins, 3 seconds, steps to Class 5 for the first time there in the Founders Day Trophy, and wins like that, beating Buddy Boom. As you say, what a litter this is by Captain Coots out of La Cigale. And so outside of Carbon Tiger, who has now won, 7 from 14, Buddy Boom, 22 from 32. Then you've got Ashens, won 13 from 25, Captain Kev, 10 from 23, Electric Dancer, 8 from 25, and poor old Express Emporium, not a bad greyhound, but 4 from 21, pales in comparison to the siblings there. But what a remarkable strike rate, and of course most of them now operating at the highest level, so it's very, very impressive. Bred by the Laglands, the late Laglands, but still Laglands obviously in the ownership, which is outstanding to continue that legacy.
Yeah, it's certainly a phenomenal effort. Rozo, I think the other thing around them, they've already earned over $100,000 between the litter, and for a team of greyhounds that are only racing over the short course, that's some effort.
Oh, exactly right. Obviously the stakes are a little less for the short course sprinters, but because they all have really good strike rates, they're pretty much racking up the money week after week and able to be kept on the track. Particularly, look, with Buddy Boom, I still marvel at the fact that he's been able to come back from that severe cut there at Manukau several weeks ago, but be able to win a Galaxy and a run second in a Group 2 as well. And okay, beaten the other day, but well, beaten by a litter mate, that's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, it's a good enough effort by him. He's certainly going to win plenty more, there's no doubt about that. Well, coming up in March, so we're a wee way away from it, we have another Commentators' Day that's going to take place, and we're going to have a fair bit of Aussie interest this year coming over for it, including Peter O'Neill.
The runners have arrived at the boxes for the 2019 Croc Media National Sprint Final, and we welcome in our relays from all parts of Australasia by the Sky Racing Network to Tap Touch Park Cannington, as well as the many black and white TVs and wirelesses tuned in from our friends on the Apple Isle. Chris Holst, driving to go back-to-back for WA with Premium Share, knows what the next 520 metres means to state pride. Black Opium, looking more like a Mexican sniffer dog in the blue and white V for Victoria. Can Silver Stunner make a meal of his rivals and earn the gold upgrade to large fries and large Coke? Chief Steward Mr Graham O'Day instructs the runners to move in, and the first line is locked away. Hello Rhonda has the rails for Tasmania. Can she become their first winner since Busy Vintage? Not even sure Neil Brown can remember what year. Mind you, you look so hot tonight, Rhonda, like a sunrise. The green light is emblazoned and they are set to run in the sprint. Racing, Black Opium and Premium Share flew out together. Hello Rhonda, Dinah Dave looks like he was spooked by a wallaby. Good Odd Tarada is prominent. Starlight Yo-Yo is going up and down in the one spot, with a Hungry Jack sponsored Silver Stunner proving anything but fast. Premium Share is worried out Black Opium and burst to the front. Good Odd Tarada rushing into third ahead of Hello Rhonda. Help me Rhonda, help me Rhonda. Dinah Dave and Starlight Yo-Yo, then Silver Stunner. Ebby Lamar is looking for a 6-dog field. Off the back and Premium Share is dashed 3 in front of Black Opium and Good Odd Tarada, then Silver Stunner. Premium Share from Black Opium. There's no upset tonight. Stand up and cheer WA. Premium Share is well clear in the Croc Media National Sprint. Black Opium gallant in defeat second, with a brave Good Odds Harada and neck away third. The rest are coming in at long intervals. Silver Stunner with Starlight Yo-Yo and Hello Rhonda. No, you stay Rhonda, you are beautiful. Ebby Lamar and Dinah Dave winding up at the rear.
Well, part of that call was accurate. That was the phantom call of West Australia greyhound commentator Peter O'Neill. He was the voice of the Nationals in Perth earlier this year. Of course, our very own Dinah Dave was able to run third and not a distant last. Clearly got a sense of humour, hasn't he, Peter? And he will be here sharing that sense of humour and his considerable commentating skills. He has been confirmed as one of the Australian visitors for the Commentators' Day of 2020, which is scheduled for March the 16th at Manawatu Raceway. And he's calling the Perth Cup on the Saturday night, and then he'll be heading off and across to Palmerston North for the Monday meeting, which is quite an outstanding performance that, I would have thought. And a long haul. Andy also expecting Tim Newbold out of Sydney. It'd be fantastic to catch up with Tim. James Vandermaat back from last year, and of course he's got a Melbourne Cup call under his belt now, and also out of Victoria. We're looking at Victoria Shore as well, and that will mean a female commentator here, which is not something that we are used to, Andy, but we may be able to come up with a surprise in that area as well. But for now, my lips are sealed.
Ooh, everyone's going to have to tune in to Commentators' Day in March now to see what exactly you are talking about. But last year was nothing short of a success, and this year is planned to be even better. Right, now time to have a look at the dogs to follow. A look back to how we did last week in terms of winners. Blakey getting none from 4, couple of placings there. Colby Ness getting home for a place at $2.30. Pip going 2 from 5. Bailey and Cream getting home at $3.60. Rozzo 1 from 4. Big Time Stella and I went 2 from 2. Go Gunner the best of those. Again, Rozzo, a fairly successful week in terms of win percentages and prices.
Yes, I have to apologise to Dog Zone Dollars followers, Andy, because I came up with a couple of decent best bets as it turned out on the Friday and Monday, but I didn't have them sorted by Wednesday, so that was pretty poor, and I've come in with a fairly poor dividend there for my win, whereas you've come up with a nice one, and so have Philippa and Blake. So look, we're getting some winners across the board. You have really come right at the end of the season, Andy. I clearly need a freshen up.
Yeah, we'll let you away with that, Rozzo. You were good early on, though, so we'll let you have a little freshen up now, and I'm sure you'll come back bigger and better than ever.
Certainly hope so, Andy. And this week we're going to do something a little different. I'm actually going to head to Christchurch for Christmas, so I'm going to be away for a week and a half. And Darryl Robinson will call the Nancy Cobain Memorial on Monday, which should be one of the races of the season on that track, honouring Nancy Cobain, who trained 5 silver collar winners, among many other things she did for greyhound racing during her lifetime, Andy. But we're going to look across to dogs, well, something to follow through the summer. Now, last year, you tipped out a dog called Tradition. And he's done quite well. Don't have to wait 12 months for the wins for Tradition either. I think won on January the 11th last year, and I tipped out a dog called Roman Nozar, who only won a couple, Andy, but did win on January the 25th. Now, I've gone for a litter to follow here, and it's the Fernando Bale Vegas Danny litter. We've got Big Time Bree, who's already run 30-30 in a maiden. Big Time Jackson, who's run a fast time now at Manawatu. Big Time Johnny, who won in 1752. He's injured, and Big Time Bree is in season. Big Time Vegas won in fast time on Monday. Andy, you're going with Macadoodle, just one for you.
Yeah, that is quality. That is quality. Yeah, I'm just going to go with Macadoodle. Rosso, I can't even talk, mate. I can't even talk. What is that?
Andy, you know what? You couldn't possibly do this if you had hair product. And this is another reason why I just tend to go with a flat hair, because when it comes to Christmas and the odd other occasion when I'm required to put something on my head, I can do so and remove it safely afterwards. It's Christmas, Andy, and as you know, I'm a prankster, practical. No, I'm not really. But anyway, I just thought I'd liven things up for the last show of 2019. And I might add, Andy, the last show for our producer, Patrick Chappell, which has me crying in the chapel. Patrick is an organiser, a producer who has managed to somehow, Andy, provide the boring poll for us to get us through to the end of the season, and we thank him for everything that he's done. We will miss him. He's moving on to far greener pastures on the box seat, Andy. We're going through producers rather quickly, and clearly we have to start looking internally.
I think what happens, Rosso, is they have to constantly tell you to hurry up so many times they just get sick of being a part of it.
Well, there is that, and then, yes, the odd silly thing that I do. It gets
I'd love to be involved in Christmas at your place, to be honest, Rosso. Your kids must love it, mate.
They'd be dead embarrassed, and they won't be watching the show.
No, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. They must be proud of their old man, surely. Right, we need to have a look at the K9 calendar now, what you have to look forward to while we are away. Obviously, the Nancy Cobain Memorial Final takes place December 23rd. Cambridge has their big meeting on December the 24th. That's heats of the Waikato Classic, Waikato Cup, Dennis Cole Memorial, also the Waikato Distance, and of course that Rich Maiden Series that takes place there. Colin Keane Memorial Group 2 final on New Year's Eve. Cambridge, that final's night on January 2nd. And Rosso, the highlight of that entire page, Dog Zone returns January 15.
Yes, it does, albeit with another producer who's going to have to try and rein us in, Andy. Just a note too that on the Christmas Eve there, the Southland Greyhound Club are racing too. They've got a New Zealand Racing Series Advanced final, and they're hoping to get a 700 metre race, which may well feature Opawa Hillary, who of course missed out on the heats of the Nancy Cobain. Andy, it brings together the end of another year. I hope people have enjoyed Dog Zone. I hope they're looking forward to rejoining us on January the 15th, and who knows what we might be able to bring them. But Philippa Morris often joins us. Blake Stothard has joined us as a tipster, does a lot of work in the background. We've got people like Cameron Shaw doing graphics. All of the directors, it's Luke Webster today. There's a variety of people who make this happen, Andy. We're just the clowns who sit up front and spout. But the actual, moulding into something that's perfectly respectable comes from in behind us, and of course our producer Patrick Chappell sadly leaving. But thanks to all of them and to the bookies who have got out markets nice and early for us too, both futures and final field.
Yeah, they certainly have done a super job, all those people you mentioned, and as you say, without them we wouldn't have a show for you to all enjoy at home. Well, Rosso, it's been an absolute pleasure this year. Have a good Christmas, and we'll see you back here January 15.
Shall do, and to you too, Andy. And of course, Dog Zone might be away for a month, but greyhound racing doesn't stop. You've seen on that calendar how many good races there are upcoming. Hope you make $1.
Yeah, I hope you do as well. Hope you have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone who tunes in to Dog Zone. As we said, we'll be back January 15 with more info for you around greyhound racing here in New Zealand. Hope you have great holidays until January 15. Happy punting.
all the good love. When we're all alone, keep it up, girl.